Hello everyone, my name is Erica. Tell me guys, is there anyone here besides me with low self-esteem? Raise your hands and write a plus in the comments below the video. Can you remember when you got it and why? I will now tell you my story about how I lived, considering myself among the ugly girls of the school, and then what changed. And you write in the comments under the video. Maybe you have encountered the same situation, or maybe you have experienced it yourself. I had been at the same school all my life. I knew almost all the kids, the teachers, every corner, and I, like all the students, had my own place. Unlike other schools, I haven't heard of anyone being bullied. At least not in my class, although I'm sure you know that high school is about survival and a test of strength. Everyone and I passed almost all the necessary exams, and I personally had a good average score. I still had my final grade ahead of me, and I thought it was a lot scarier than all the other tests. The whole point is that according to the rules, girls and guys go there together. If you come alone, it's not very good for your reputation. Everyone will remember you, like the lonely girl. And I didn't have a date. None of the guys invited me, unlike my friends. By the way, I had two of them, Agnes and Jolie. So, who's going to the ball with Justin Tansey? Really? Really? Yeah, I just got invited. Cool, huh? Oh yes, almost all of us now have an escort for the ball. Erica, it's time for you to look for someone too. There's only a week left. Yes, I know, but who? No one invited me. I think if I was more beautiful, even if only a little bit, someone would have called me long ago. Come on, are you at it again? What makes you think you're not beautiful? Look at Michael. He's a freak. Agnes, be quiet. He's still our classmate. Well, isn't it true? Just look at him. Short, plump, not smart and not rich. He's no good at all. But his self-esteem is good. That's right. It's all about self-esteem. It's not about how you look. It's about how you feel and present yourself. Well, look at Michael. He eats his boogers right in class. And remember how he farted during push-ups that you could hear it in the hallway? A nightmare. And you know what? He got out of it. I got up and said, guys, if you do less push-ups than I do, I'll fart even harder, in the face of the weakest. I knew the girls were trying to cheer me up, but Michael wasn't much of an example. You know what the joke is? He'd done the least push-ups back then, and the boys had made him keep his promise. He curled up in a ball and then stuck his nose in his underpants and farted to himself. It was terrible, but he looked pleased. During my conversation with the girls, he came up to us, and for some reason asked me for a few words in private. You'll remember it. That's it. Agnes, I had a big meal today. Guess what? And then he made a loud, nasty belch in her face and laughed. Oh, I think I'm dying. Help me. I need oxygen. God, Michael, I feel sorry for your girlfriend. If you don't stop teasing me, you will. Fuck you. The girls left us alone. I asked him what he wanted, and he looked at me for a long time. Then he asked if I wanted to go to the ball with him. That was a twist. I hadn't prepared myself for such a thing. I didn't want to be remembered next to him. That's it. Real desperation, damn it. I politely declined, and he smiled and said that the vacancy was still open and left. I told the girls about everything, and of course they objected, saying that there was still time. But after a day and 3 more, the chances of finding someone were getting slimmer. There was one crush that I liked. He was still free, because he basically never talks to anyone, and I liked that about him. His name was Freddie. He was the most unsociable and smartest in the class, and the girls encouraged me to talk to him. I found out that he worked as a waiter at a diner near the school, so I planned to go and try to invite him. Jolie and I went there after school. It was his shift. We made surprised faces, like we didn't know that he worked there. Gave him an order, which he indifferently accepted. I fidgeted, not knowing where to start. In my excitement, I started eating a burger, then another, then a prune pie, and a milkshake. It was so hard for me to breathe in my new jeans, and I couldn't move, and I was already out of time. I ran to the bathroom, and when I was buttoning up my pants, a button came off. Damn it, not again, I said. There was a girl standing nearby, talking to her friend on the phone. I tried to fix it, and at some point I lost my balance, fell on the open toilet with my butt, wet my pants, and cursed loudly. Then I tried to get out, but the door jammed, so I took off my shoe and started banging on the lock to open it. There was nothing to do but climb over the door. When I was already at the top, I threw my leg over, and something crunched between my legs. I tore my pants. "Oh shit!" I shouted. At this point, I forgot that the toilet was shared, since the men's room was not working. Someone on the other side heard the noise and broke down the door. Freddie was standing behind it. We looked at each other. I was sitting at the door without a shoe, and my pants were torn as if they had been peed on, and I rolled back and forth on it. Freddie blushed, and then he ran in. Ta-da! Michael? Where did he even come from? At the sight of him, I began to lose my balance, fell to the floor, hit my face on the door, and just lay there. Michael ran to me, helped me up, and saw my wet underwear. "Hell, baby. Even my grandma doesn't wear those anymore." I was so ashamed, and Freddie saw it all. I yelled at Michael to get away from me, and then Jolie ran in, got her bearings, covered me with her jacket, and called a taxi. Humiliation! I'm just disgusting! Well, who isn't? How did this happen? I was lying on the floor with torn, wet pants, and I've got a black eye a couple of days before the ball. And all of this in front of my crush? Well, sometimes you have to think about how to fix it. If only I had a time machine. I was broken, sat with a black eye, applied ice at home, and whined on the bed. I went to school the next day and was met by Michael. He came up to me so nastily and said, "Princess, after yesterday between us, I won't promise to get married, but I can go to a point." I didn't even want to speak to him, so I ignored him. Then I met Freddie's eyes. We both turned away from each other. I was ashamed. Everyone was looking at my swollen, purple eye, and I hated myself. "Overeating doesn't do any good," Agnes said and laughed, adding that she would give anything just to see me rolling around on the toilet floor. The day before the ball, I had already decided that I wasn't going, because now I was even uglier than before. But early in the morning, the doorbell rang, and Michael was standing there. "What do you want? Fuck off! I'm not going anywhere." "Okay, cool it, princess. I'm on business. Don't you want to be my queen? Okay, you're just not up to my level yet." "Go away." But Michael stopped me and asked me to go somewhere with him. I took a long time to do my makeup, but he promised that he would leave me alone after that. We met a couple of hours after my morning shower. He picked me up, brought me to the beauty salon, and said, "I'll be back in 1.5 hours," and left. I had no idea what was going on, but then a girl came up to me, called herself Michael's sister, took my hand, and led me inside. 2 hours later, they had made a real princess out of me. They covered up my bruise with cool makeup, did my hair, and then Michael came and picked me up. On the way, I asked him why he was doing this, and he just said that he wanted to help. "I heard you talking to Agnes and Jolie. You're wrong. I know I'm not pretty, but it's only when you accept who you are that people will reach out to you. I've had the most girls in the class, just because I love myself, so they love me too. It can't be otherwise." Michael brought me home, where the girls were waiting for me. It turns out that they chose me a dress and persuaded me to wear it. Then we went to the ball. I was worried that I would go there alone, but the girls said that they would be there. And as soon as we entered, an incredibly beautiful hall opened up in front of us. Everything was so cool, with good music and lighting. Everyone looked at me, didn't even recognize me, because I really looked so beautiful. A couple of minutes later, someone came up beside me. It was Freddie. He asked me to dance. I couldn't believe it. Freddie smiled enigmatically, and then said that he fixed the toilet door after me for 2 hours. I was so ashamed. After we danced, he handed me a box with a bow on it. "What is it?" I asked, and when I opened the box, I saw my shoe. "I think we've got a Cinderella story," Freddie said, and laughed. That same evening, we were announced as the most beautiful couple at the ball, and it was excellent. I thanked Michael and the girls for everything, and Freddie and I danced together all night. Tell me, did you guys like my story? Write your opinion about it in the comments below the video. Do not forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel.